Good morning and welcome to Great Day Washington. I'm Ellen Bryan.
And I'm Kristen Harris, and along with Miri, Marshall is joining us this morning, and we are really excited because we are joined by two people this morning who literally just came back down to Earth.
Yeah.
They are NASA astronauts who spent a lot of time last year on the International Space Station.
And they're in their full gear too here.
It's so exciting, and I'm trying to contain the inner geek in me. I really am.
Keep working on it, Miri. Also on the show today, we have some simple food swaps that can help you keep some calories off, and we have a guest who wants you to change your everyday thinking to help you lose some weight. But first, ladies, should we head on into the morning mix?
Why not? Do it.
Got a lot going on this weekend, starting with something that's happening down in Virginia, and it's impacting Virginia's Supreme Court because they are now deciding whether Governor Northam's temporary ban on weapons around the state capitol can actually stand or not. A lower court ruling has upheld this ban, which is scheduled to start at 5 p.m. this afternoon. This is part of a state of emergency that the governor has declared. It is ahead of Monday's gun rights rally in Richmond. Now, if they do not overturn this, the ban on weapons is going to last through Tuesday night. Now, kind of at the same time, we're also seeing that the FBI agents have arrested 3 people yesterday. They say the suspects are linked to an extremist group, and investigators say evidence shows the men were planning something violent.
Gosh, that's scary.
So I think that's part of the reason why the governor, they had some intelligence saying something might happen, so they put this ban around the Capitol in place. People are saying you can't do that. And that's why the courts are ruling on this.
Yeah.
I saw like the news alert that the governor declares state of emergency, and at first I thought it was because of the weather we're having this weekend. I'm like, well, I didn't know it went that bad.
Right.
It didn't.
And then as I started reading it, I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think that he is acting out of an abundance of caution. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville when, you know, one of the demonstrators lost her life. And, you know, for some people, that's just a news story. To that mom, that's a hurt that's never going to go away, and he's trying to ensure that no other mother, father, friend, cousin, brother has to endure that again. And it's unfortunate that people's rights have to be infringed on a little bit, but I mean, if you're not around the Capitol, you can still have your gun if you want, right? Well, yeah, I think you'd be okay.
And think if something does happen, then we hear, oh, they actually had some intelligence beforehand, and then you're like, why didn't you do something about it?
Exactly.
But then you understand our rights and freedoms of America. That's tough. That's very
So we'll
tough.
hear the rest of that this afternoon?
This afternoon,
Okay.
they should rule. Yep.
All right, we're talking some baseball. There's such a fallout with this. Major League Baseball sign stealing scandal took down another manager. This time, the New York Mets have fired Carlos Beltran before he even coached a game.
Right.
Major League Baseball says Beltran was involved in stealing opponent signals when he played for the Houston Astros in 2017. And Astros manager A.J. Hinch was fired this week, as was Boston Red Sox manager Alex Cora, who had been a coach with the Astros. And of course, they're investigating whether the Red Sox used some kind of sign stealing thing when they won in 2018. My thing, poor Ellen had to hear us all talking about this in the office yesterday.
Kristen,
none of the players are getting punished yet.
Exactly.
None of the players, and they're the ones that did it. I get like Beltran and Cora, they were part
players.
of that.
Yeah,
Beltran was a player, Cora was a bench coach, and then Hinch is the manager. So I get that. But the players are adults. They know the difference between right and wrong, and why are they not getting punished?
It's not a high school team.
I'm just putting it all together here from Inflategate on over to this. Like, can we just win fair and square? I mean, if you have made it to the NFL or the MLB, that means you are a superior athlete, and whatever you bring to the game should be enough. We don't need these extra antics to try to have a leg up. Just bring your A game. And if your A game isn't enough, go home.
And the fact
or
no
work
one
harder.
said anything before now, right? And when they said sign stealing, I was thinking like actual signs. I was never thinking like, oh my gosh, they were actually right. Like reading that, that's
and people want
awful.
them to vacate the World Series wins, but I mean, what does that really do? The Dodgers are going to be like, oh great, you know, well we didn't actually win,
right?
We didn't get
they
our
didn't
parade.
get the celebration.
Yeah,
so I was just going to have an asterisk next
It
to
is what it is after that point. I wouldn't go as far with
You're
it,
going to
but-
get caught. People, kids out there, don't cheat. You're going to get caught.
Yeah, what an example.
There is, though, some positive press that we want to share with you from Major League Baseball after one team hired the very first female full-time coach in Major League Baseball history.
Wow.
The
Incredible.
San Francisco Giants announced it hired Alyssa Knockin as an assistant coach yesterday. Knockin interned for the club in 2014. She was also a standout softball player at Sacramento State and an academic All-American. She will be responsible for putting together health and wellness programs for the Giants. She's going to be out there for batting practice. She's going to be in uniform. So I love that.
Good for her.
too.
That's a lot of pressure too at the same time. You know,
a lot of
to be
pressure.
the first one.
And we've seen Jessica Mendoza is a former softball or former player, does the play-by-play on some of the games. She got a lot of ridicule at first, like, what do girls know about baseball? But it's kind of like, did you
softball
play
teams.
football? Like,
Yeah.
what do you know about football? You couch
Exactly.
quarterback, you know,
Yeah,
it's this whole
right.
thing. I did hear something, somebody asked Kobe Bryant if he thought maybe women would be able to play in the NBA soon or in the near future. And he said, I think there's players out there now that are capable of this.
Wow.
Elena Deladon from the
Right.
Wizards was one that he named. So people are starting to see that the skill level is there and that the intelligence is there.
Did you see the
Absolutely.
first part-time female coach in the MLB? She tweeted out yesterday, the wall is broken. Because she did like a 2-week summer camp with
Right.
Oakland A's.
Yeah.
And she said, this is great. Like now,
Full-time.
another step forward.
And you're seeing those strides in the NFL as well.
Yep.
So it's coming full circle. And hey, ladies like sports. I love football.
Right.
It's all I did with my dad every Sunday. So I mean, I like sports in general, but just saying like,
But
girls
you know the
can
game.
like it too.
Yeah. You know the
so-
game, and you kind of bring a different
Kristen,
perspective
I'm
as well.
out. No one wants to hear my play-by-play. I'll stick to fashion.
Back at home. Hey, we all have our
Yes, your expertise.
Exactly. The world champion Washington Nationals are looking to hire more than 200 part-time positions for the 2020 season. Applications now open for game day staff. Check them out online so you can root for the home team and get paid at the same time and maybe watch some free baseball.
All right, if you don't see me Monday, you know where I am.
See Mary ushering you down to your seat, cheering for the home run.
Day. I wonder where that
Curly
sick
W's.
day went. Hey, we're excited for the Grammys around here, and Demi Lovato is one of those artists. She is set to perform. Now she's also going to perform on another big stage. She is going to be singing the national anthem at Super Bowl 54. And of course, this is her way making it back into the public eye.
Right.
She has struggled a lot with different health issues. She's been creating some new music, and she said, the next time you see me, I'm going to be singing. She's singing at the Grammys. She's also singing at the Super
Awesome.
Bowl.
Ooh, that Super Bowl show with her and then J-Lo.
Well,
And
she's doing,
Shakira-
she's doing the
Shakira
national
and J-Lo
anthem,
have
and then
halftime.
Shakira and J-Lo. Female
Yeah.
power. Talking about female
Right.
in the NFL.
That's true.
I love
That's
it.
true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, from the Odell Beckham Jr. file, he was already seen on video handing out cash to LSU players after their national championship win Monday night. Now, an arrest warrant has been issued for the LSU alum. In the current Browns wide receiver, a security officer says that Beckham smacked him on the behind in the locker room and decided to press charges. Now, the count against Beckham is simple battery.
This is everything that happened after the national championship game with him. I'm like, what was he? Why? I don't understand. Every video, he was like involving himself in everything.
That's
I
my
don't
whole
get it.
problem. And you're LSU, but like,
Yeah.
you don't play for that team anymore.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
I get you're a
don't, you
fan. You're a
don't.
Cleveland Brown now. He has
Right.
taken every bit of spotlight from
Yeah.
the players that won the national
true.
championship.
It's kind of what he does.
True.
But on this
Very true.
charge, and I could see the security guard being offended a bit, but isn't that common in locker rooms?
Yeah, but did you see
tap.
the video? Like he comes back and then he was like, "Woo," you know, like just kind of his
Yeah.
reaction. I don't know.
And yeah, okay.
I don't get it.
Yes,
All right,
on.
guys.
It does.
Okay, if you're making your morning coffee at home, don't listen. Did you know one of the dirtiest parts of your kitchen is your coffee maker?
Ew.
I know. Experts from the consumer products at the National Sanitation Foundation say your coffee maker can grow bacteria, yeast, or even mold. Now, you're seeing one of the biggest problems on the screen right now. It's those single-serve coffee makers. They say because you have that water reservoir, it makes it the dirtiest part. If you're in an office and it still has the actual coffee pot, it's the coffee handle that has the most germs. And then if your office has one of the single serve, as we do here, it's the top of the machine where people place like the pods after you've used them. That's where you're going to see a lot of the germs. Now, there is some good news. These appliances, they can be cleaned, and
Right.
it's not the end of the world. If you clean them, it's like right here. I never clean that water reservoir. I just fill it up when
Fill
it's
it back
empty.
up, yeah.
I
Unless it's
just
been
don't
sitting
drink
there.
coffee. I just drink my little green smoothie and have a nice little morning.
How do you get up in the morning without
I
coffee?
know.
Just
She doesn't like coffee.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Just life itself. It's like, hey, I'm up. Let's just be grateful and make the best of this
Cherry
day.
Miri.
That's my nickname.
I know.
Cheers, Miri.
All right, today is the final day of preparations ahead of the Women's March. Demonstrators met up last night in Northwest D.C. to make posters for Saturday's big event. They say the signs and the artwork, they are a big part of the message that they are trying to share.
The artistic, visually striking side of it, where you don't really have to say anything, you can create something that really speaks for itself. So regardless of what you are physically saying in that moment, the sign says so much.
Now, organizers are hoping for a big turnout. Everything we're hearing has said, oh, the numbers keep declining. Even though the weather looks bad as well, they are going to have this march no matter what. Starts at 10 a.m. at Freedom Plaza tomorrow.
All right. Well, Dominion Energy is bringing electric school buses to Virginia. That's exciting. Plans call for 50 of the high-tech vehicles to be delivered to the state by the end of the year. The buses are expected to provide environmental and health benefits, the reduced emissions and maintenance costs. Electric school buses in Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, and Prince William County will be included in the first phase of the program.
That's awesome. And we were talking with somebody from there yesterday saying eventually they will all be electric, but it's like taking 250 cars off the road when you have one school bus.
That's amazing.
So we want to say a big happy birthday as we celebrate America's Golden Girl, Betty White. She turns 98 years young today.
Love
the
Betty
actress
White.
once credited her longevity to her love of pets, hot dogs, and vodka. With more than 75 years in show business, the comedic staple made generations laugh with the Mary Tyler Moore Show, The Golden Girls, and Hot in Cleveland. Throughout her career, she's received 24 Emmy nominations, has won 8 of them, and we all just love her. So
we do.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Betty White.
Happy birthday. 98 years. Very well
love
lived.
it.
Note to self, add vodka to beauty regimen.
We'll be back with more Great Day right after this.
What about the hot dogs?
We meet 2 astronauts who have just returned from space. They share their experiences and scientific findings after the break. Welcome back to Great Day Washington. Today we meet 2 astronauts who've recently returned to Earth from after a 6-month mission on the International Space Station.
Please welcome NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nick Hague. We are so excited. I am totally geeked about having you guys here. So we're really glad to have you here. Oh, what was it like? I mean, I can't wrap my brain around the whole, zero gravity thing. And you were in space. I mean, you weren't just in the rocket, you were in space. What was that like?
That's right. We both had the opportunity to spend about 6.5 months on the International Space Station. It's this national orbiting laboratory in low Earth orbit, about 250 miles up. You fly up on a Russian Soyuz vehicle. We spent 6 months doing science, repairs, maintenance, Earth observations. We got to live in space. That's the difference these days. For 20 years, that space station has been continuously manned, and we were fortunate to spend some time up there.
And you did a spacewalk together. So outside, we have I saw some pictures and video with like Earth behind you. How cool was that?
Yeah, it's a life-changing experience, and we were fortunate enough to get to both do our first spacewalk together. So not really knowing what to expect.
Right.
The first time you do it is the first time, and going out there and working side by side with Anne was just an amazing experience.
So this is some video of your spacewalk, and you guys are smiling, so that's good.
Well, I'm taking the obligatory selfie. I mean, you got to capture that moment, but
Space selfie.
I love that.
those are just a couple of the fun moments. Getting to see your own shadow. I remember looking down on that shot, seeing your own shadow behind the Earth, and here's Nick. Taking that selfie, and those are really just a couple of fun little moments. But a spacewalk, we were outside for 6.5 hours. It's an intense and physical job that requires 100% of your focus. And so, those fun moments are great to have, but we were very proud that we got to upgrade some of the systems on the space station so we can extend the life of space station.
Yeah, it's like running a marathon. We're in those suits for about 12 hours.
Wow. What is that? I mean,
That's
are
why
they
you have to
heavy? What is it like inside of them?
Well, in space, it doesn't weigh anything.
But it just seems like so much because, as I mentioned, I did some fire journalism. I have to put all this stuff on the gear. But as you mentioned, yes, it is that floating feeling, which I could never get used to. What about, I got some questions about food on my Facebook page. What do you guys do for food? I would be remiss if I didn't ask that, Kristen. I would be. What do you guys do for food out there?
Yeah, so our food, it's very similar to what they do for soldiers when they deploy. So it's all preserved food, it's in packages, a lot of it's dehydrated, so we have to add water to it. just to try to conserve the weight, because it costs to send water to space. So we recycle all the water up there, or as much as we can. But to be honest, the food's pretty tasty.
Pretty tasty.
It's not at all like the space ice cream.
I was
that you
just saying,
see. Yeah,
as
no.
a kid, and probably kids out there, you know, you get that package as vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, like a kind of a pasty. But you guys had real ice cream right here.
We do sometimes get the opportunity to get some real ice cream up there. Our scientists can kind of sneak us up some every now and then. But and actually, we fly the freezers for science. You know, most of what we're doing up there is science. So to preserve our samples, we send them down in freezers. Sometimes they can sneak a little ice cream on the trip up for us.
Oh, that is a real treat, I'm sure.
You don't want to send an empty freezer up there, you know. But okay, so then, fun aside, though, the work, the mission that you guys are on, where are we? Where are we in terms of sending somebody to Mars? What are we starting to see?
Yeah, so the Artemis program and going back to the moon by 2024 is where we're at right now. And on the space station, we're working to shake out some of the equipment that we're going to end up using to build the infrastructure necessary to do that. So we're going back to the moon, and that's going to help us learn what we need to go on to Mars.
And Nick, talk to us, because you were on a mission that had to be aborted. I watched some of the video and my heart just sank. I'm sure you were skipped a beat as well.
It may have.
Tell us what it's like for that, and then if you could also tell us what it's like for training up for a moment like that when something doesn't quite go as planned.
So 95% of the training that we do is to prepare for the things that we hope never are going to happen, for the failures. And so this was one of those scenarios that we had trained for and prepared for. So in the moment, the emotions kind of get set aside, and you focus on, okay, this is the job, and I know that my best chance for survival is to do the procedures flawlessly. And so working together with my cosmonaut crewmate, and you know, being able to pull through that by just following the procedures and relying on the ground team.
What made you want to become an astronaut?
I'm
always curious, yeah.
I think for everybody it's a little bit different. I first told my mom I wanted to be an astronaut when I was 3 years old.
Really?
Really. And it
Wow.
was when I went to preschool my first day, I had my lunchbox and I said, I'm going to school to learn to be an astronaut. And I was really fortunate that no one told me that it was unrealistic. You know, and so what I always tell kids is have an unrealistic goal, but have a really realistic path to get there. And for us parents, if a child tells you this amazing dream, tell them that yes, you can do it, but you know, it takes a lot of work.
Well, we thank both of you for being up there, risking your lives to, you know, advance everything that we are learning about space and science. But we're glad you're home safe and sound on solid ground. We wanted to say real quick, the space station is going to fly over DC Monday night. You can see it at 6:34, but also go to NASA's website. You can get alerts and see when the space station's coming around. We'll be back with more Great Day right after this. 2020 has started off with quite a few disasters around the globe. We can't avoid them, but we can manage how we react when they befall us. Coming up, we'll have some tips for you after the break.